As briefly mentioned in the previous session on Teaching 101, if you're teaching in a person or conducting a seminar workshop, the ability to speak in public is very important as a skill you must develop. Fortunately, I can offer quick steps to confident public speaking even if you are an introvert or public speaking is not your cup of tea. I have known people who are from rather secretive backgrounds or do not like the idea of speaking in public, but they can still pull off very well. And I have reason to believe that you or anyone can also do the same. So here are the quick steps I can offer on confident public speaking. You must compose your PowerPoint slides that reiterates everything you've planned to speak about in your presentation. As briefly mentioned again in the previous session, session number 3, if you walk into a room with no PowerPoint slides, it's bordering a speaker scene. Because if you don't have a PowerPoint slide, this means you don't have a plan, an organized structure or what you plan to speak, and your students would subconsciously treat you with less respect because you're not really prepared yourself, and they will subconsciously leave much to be desired. So compose your PowerPoint slides, read through it everything you plan to speak about in your presentation, and summarize what you plan to speak in bullet points only. It doesn't have to be a lump of text. Using the PowerPoint slides, practice in front of the mirror and repeat the same presentation 3 times in a row. Now if your presentation is about 10 minutes long, you can possibly do it in a row. But if your presentation length is longer than that, maybe half an hour to an hour max, I suggest taking breaks in between, but you must succeed doing 3 presentations in a row. When you look at yourself in the mirror while practicing speaking, observe your body language. Pay attention to your eye contact, your facial expression, and try not to wave your hands too often. Once you're done with this exercise, you can repeat the same presentation by practicing your public speaking in front of someone you can trust. It can be a family member or a spouse. Now this formula may be oversimplified, but this is a powerful method that you can quickly do and take quick steps to confident public speaking. So do not discount the simplicity of this method. Shaping up your presentation. In this part, I'm going to teach you how to make your PowerPoint slides deliver more impact to your students, and so that they can take action over steps after listening to your presentation or your seminar. Compose your PowerPoint slides in strictly bullet points. This means that one bullet point should not have more than 2 lines. You want to craft a personal story that relates to the presentation in your coaching program. You want to start the presentation with 10 minutes about your self-introduction and story. Dividing each PowerPoint slide into time segments so you can sort of time frame yourself. And I advise carrying or wearing a watch when you're doing the presentation so you can time yourself. If your speaking time is only 1.5 hours, you must not do more or less than. You must be mostly on time because chances are that there may be a speaker right after you, and you do not want to bite into his time. So you can position yourself, and at slide 1 you can spend 5 minutes, and if you notice you're spending more than 5 minutes, then hurry up to slide 2, which you position yourself to have 10 minutes, slide 3 to 5 minutes, and so on. This is totally up to you. Now putting all the 4 steps that I was just telling you about together, you will want to first start with a story that eventually translates to what your presentation is all about. One success example. This is what a lot of internet marketing coaches do when they speak on stage. They will spend the first 10 minutes about their self-introduction, how they stumbled upon the idea of making money online, and typically they'll explain that they were at their previous full-time job or from another business background, but conventional businesses was taking too much of their time. So they were in search for freedom. They made a lot of mistakes on the way and in the pursuit of internet marketing success, and after a lot of trials and errors for so many years, they finally succeeded, and they translate to what they have discovered over the years and why the people in their class don't have to go through the same mistakes they have done. So you see, through using a very simple formula, your students are already perked up. They're very interested because they know that you're not just another random person. They know you have the qualification and backed by a story they can also relate, because they also come from a background where they have little money, a full-time job, and they're not ready to take as much risk as you did when you did many years ago. So this is one good example. Last but not least, if this applies to you, you can dedicate the final 15 minutes to frequently asked questions or selling your high-ticket program. Now, if you're doing a previous seminar, dedicating the final 15 minutes to sell your coaching program is really a must-do, contrary to what many people may think or get turned off. Because the thing is that when you do a seminar, people will take notes and they are expected to go home and take action right away. But this is often not the case. While some people do take action, many people do not, because they are still challenged. They may know how to do it or what to do already, but they do not know how to do it themselves. One example is teaching people how to make money online. Although you may have shared your trade secrets to making money online and they already know it, but they're still challenged in other areas like building a website, how to do it themselves, and they may not have the appetite for high risk. And what if many of them are too busy to do it? Now this is where selling a coaching program comes in, because you help them eliminate more guesswork, and to a degree, you may offer to do some things for them. So this is a no-brainer offer you can do, so and you can expect to get a lot of clients through this method. Tips for better public speaking. Avoid saying ums and ahs as much as possible. Now, if you're not a proficient public speaker, you can expect that your mind will be turned blank very often, and this is where you are quite tempted to stammer or say and ahs just to buy yourself some time. Unfortunately, this is not the case, because the public will have another impression on you, and they know that you're less than a professional speaker. So instead of saying that, you should pause and wait for a while to allow your mind to start thinking again. Avoid using difficult words or jargons. Because people in general prefer simple words, and difficult, complicated words do not impress people in general. You must not make jokes. A certain degree of humor is acceptable, but do not make jokes, because there are some people who are just serious, and if you are talking to a diverse group, people from different cultures and backgrounds, some people may think that your joke is acceptable, and then there are those who don't find it funny at all. So avoid cracking jokes on stage, or you will get a less professional impression. Make constant eye contact with your audience. This means do not look at a computer and do not look at a presentation slide too long. You can look at it once in a while, but most of the time you must make eye contact with your audience. Look at the different people in the crowd and just do not look at the same direction. Sometimes you may look at the right, look at the center, and then look at the left. Do not remain at the same spot on stage or in front of the room all the time. I encourage you to walk on stage to different places sometimes, but take slow walks and stride gracefully. Last but not least, to connect better with your audience, I advise that you have them wear a name tag or sticker name tag before entering the room, so that you can address the audience by name. This means that you can build rapport and relationship very easily with the audience, even while on stage, so that your audience don't feel like they are just one of the many people and they feel it's more personalized. This really helps a lot when it comes to closing the sale at the end of a presentation, especially if you're doing a previous seminar and you're trying to sell a higher ticket coaching program. This will help you close your sales indefinitely, and I advise using this method especially when your room is small, like less than 100 people.